Hello, you are welcome to another edition of our State of the Nation podcast. Today we have with us Randypeterz, also known as Peter for Nigeria. Again, we are at the launch of our credibility threshold for the 2027 Nigeria elections. Thank you for being here, Peter.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I'm sure you all know him. He's a very popular face and has been leading the advocacy on fixed INEC and general electoral reforms in our country, Nigeria. So we would like to hear from Peter. What inspired you to go into advocating for electoral reforms?
The basics, the basis of any democracy are free and fair elections. Elections are not just part of a democracy, they are the foundation, because the idea of a democracy is that power comes from the people. And so if you don't lay that foundation, you do not have a point of accountability. So you are basically going around in circles. So in Nigeria, you complain about insecurity, inflation, hunger, and. But then again, the persons who put us in this situation have a way of finding themselves back into power. So what you just do is just renew another 4-year subscription for lamentation, and then another circle comes, and it's like that, because we have failed to fix that root cause of accountability. So elections do not even provide governments, they give legitimacy to governors, and they give the citizens opportunity to hold their leaders accountable if they fail to deliver for them.
But since you started this advocacy, what are the biggest challenges that you faced in terms of even your engagement with citizens, with authorities, anybody?
Simple. Citizens apathy, complete disenfranchisement. Nigerians have been so much victims of bad governance that they do not believe good governance is possible. So a good majority of Nigerians, free and fair elections are impossible. So they just tell you outrightly, Peter, you are wasting time. It will not work. They will not permit it. But I now ask, what is your other option? If they do not permit it, that is why you must continue to insist, because as long as they do not permit it, it will not be better with your collective lives. So that is the major challenge. The system has shown so much frustration that people have little strength to invest in this kind of advocacy.
I agree with you, and like I was saying with the other speaker, it speaks to the kind of civic space we have in Nigeria. You know, people always say, oh, after the 2023 general election, you people are not saying anything. And I'm like, everyone has a right to advocate for change in Nigeria. If civil society organizations are not saying anything, then citizens can speak. And that's why I'm so happy that people like you have decided to go into this sort of advocacy, because it also speaks to the fact that civil society groups have sort of opened a space for citizens to speak to and air their voices, which is a very good thing. But as we head towards 2027, what are the key reforms that you like to see? What are the most critical reforms you would like to see? In
fact, let me even use the opportunity to thank you once again for this very laudable program, setting the tone for 2027. Because if politicians are preparing for 2027, then the citizens in this space with your leadership should also do the same. I think our own demand is simple. We actually went under the body Nigeria Electoral Reform Coalition and we dropped a petition. We want electronic transmission of results to be mandatory. The entire 2022 Electoral Act allowed the entire electoral process to be at the mercy. We are at the mercy of INEC. INEC chooses how to conduct elections, yet the law does not hold INEC to its own standards and guidelines. So it is sort of a confusion. I can set rules. If I don't play by them, there are no consequences for me. So whatever that are the discrepancies or loopholes, whether it is to harmonize the Electoral Act with the INEC guidelines and the Constitution, whatever it is, those loopholes must be looked at.
So the regulatory framework,
for elections. And then again, we talked about the independent candidacy, and then the appointment of the INEC Chairman. Should it still remain the sole duty of the president, or it should be maybe a recommendation from the NJC or any other, whatever are the means to make sure that there is less human interference and a more transparent process from voter registration to voting to collation and announcement of results.
I think these are very key issues you've talked about, because one of the things the credibility threshold document talks about is appointments of officials into INEC, and the fact that they have to be non-partisan, also be people of experience. It talks to the independence of the election management body, which is very, very, very important. So looking forward, one of the things that we're hoping is that more people will come out and vote in 2027, because looking at how elections have gone, we've been on a steady decline when it comes to voter turnout. What do you want to say to Nigerian people about that?
Nigerians must understand the importance of elections. Elections are blood business. In fact, whether you will be alive till 2027 might depend on your decision in 2023. So when they say politics is a game of numbers, it's a game of numbers of people's lives, the quality of life that you have, and everything that we do depends on the kind of leadership that we get. And so if you decide to be disenfranchised or detached, it does not insulate you from becoming a victim of a bad system. So we must realize that keeping quiet is not even an option. You must get involved. And in doing that, we must ensure that we make it a priority to lend our voices, put forward our support, talk about them, to ensure that the system is reformed, and then we have the kind of elections for you to get your leaders that you will be proud of, because leaders are a product of the citizens, of the followers. So that is what we must all do. So Nigerians must refuse to be frustrated. The more frustrated you are, the better for the politicians. The more distracted you are, better for them. Let us have a field day. So insist that the quality of your life is better by the kind of leadership that you also chose.
Well, you've heard it from Peter for Nigeria. Nigerians, we need to do more in 2027. So we are urging you all to pay more attention to the electoral process and be prepared to come out to vote in 2027. So thank you very much for being here, and look forward to more of our episodes. Bye for now.